talk on smooth muscle contraction. The smooth muscles are so named because they don't have striation. Skeletal muscles are striated muscle, cardiac muscles are striated muscle, and the smooth muscles, they are non-striated because the myofibrils in the smooth muscle, they are not placed in irregular fashion, like while in skeletal muscles and cardiac muscle, they are placed in irregular pattern. But in case of smooth muscle, they are dispersed in every direction, so they don't have striation, so they are called smooth muscle. The smooth muscles, they are smaller in diameter and shorter in length than skeletal muscles. They are fusiform in shape. The skeletal muscles are rod-like. The general organization, they have dense bodies. These are dense bodies which serve the same role as the Z disc in case of skeletal muscles. In skeletal muscles, the actin filaments are radiating from both sides of the Z line, while in case of smooth muscle, the actin filaments are radiating from both sides of the dense body. So the dense bodies, you can say that the dense bodies, they serve the same role as the Z disc in case of skeletal muscles. These dense bodies, they are attached to the cell membrane. They are also dispersed in the cytoplasm, and they are placed in all directions. The dense bodies of one cell, they are bonded with some of the dense bodies of the other cells, and this so this will provide the union of the cells. That is, when one cell is contracted, the force of contraction will be transferred to the other cells. So they can contract as a unit. Students, 71. What are the learning objectives of today's lecture? By the end of this section, you will be able to describe what is a dense body, explain the mechanism of smooth muscle contraction, explain how smooth muscles differ from skeletal muscles, explain the difference between a single unit and multi-unit smooth muscle. As already said to you, the smooth muscles, they are fusiform in shape, while the skeletal muscles, they are rod-like. They are smaller in diameter. They are smaller in diameter and shorter in length than the skeletal muscles. And skeletal muscles, there are Z disc. While in case of smooth muscle, dense bodies serve the same role because the actin filaments, they are radiated from both sides of the dense bodies. In smooth muscle, the actin filaments are 5 to 10 to that of myosin filaments. That is, in case of skeletal muscle, there are 2 actin filaments with reference to the myosin. But in case of smooth muscles, they are 5 to 10 to that of myosin. Another thing then, when the smooth muscle contracts, they are squeezed from all the sides because the myofibrils, they are dispersed in all directions. So when the smooth muscle contract, the smooth muscles, they are squeezed from all the sides. But in case of skeletal muscle, when the skeletal muscle contract, they pull their ends. So they become short in their length. While in case of smooth muscle, they are squeezed from all the sides. Another thing is that the smooth muscle, they are involuntary, while the skeletal muscle, they are voluntary in action. Another difference is that the skeletal muscle, they are always excited by a nerve fiber, while these smooth muscles, they can be excited spontaneously, that is spontaneous contraction, spontaneous excitation. They can be excited by mechanically, that is when it is stretched. They can be excited electrically. They can be excited chemically, that is neurotransmitters or hormones. So nostriation, they are fusiform and they contain a single rod-like nucleus located in the center. While in case of skeletal muscle, as you know, there are numerous nuclei which are placed in the myofibrils of the skeletal muscle. In smooth muscle, the actin filaments, they are attached to dense bodies, while in case of skeletal muscle, the actin filaments are attached to the Z disc. These dense bodies, they are attached to the cell membrane. Others are dispersed inside the cell, like this one. So some of the membrane dense bodies of adjacent cells are bonded together by intercellular protein bridges. This one, this is a bridge. So what is the significance of this? The significance is that when this muscle, then this cell contract, the force of contraction, the force is transferred to this one. So this will also contract. So all the cells, they will contract as a unit. So the force of contraction is transmitted from one cell to the next one. The actin filaments, they are 5 to 10 times as many actin filaments as myosin filament. While in case of skeletal muscle, there are 2 actin filaments and 1 myosin filament. The resting membrane potential of smooth muscle is about -50, while in case of skeletal muscle in large nerve fibers, the resting membrane potential is -90, and that in cardiac muscle also -60, about -60. Another thing is that when the smooth muscle contract, they contract as much as 80% of their length. This means that it becomes more shorter as compared to skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle contract 30% to their size, while the smooth muscle contract as much as 80% of their length. That is 80% decrease in the length of the smooth muscle when they contract. So there will be more contraction in case of that is the cells become, the fibers become more shorter during contraction as compared to the skeletal muscle. The dense bodies serve the same role as the Z disc in skeletal muscles. Most of the myosin filaments have side polar cross bridges. Just like that of skeletal muscle, bridges on one side hang in one direction, and those on the other side hang in the opposite direction. So myosin pull an actin filament in one direction on one side, this side, one side, and while another actin filaments in the opposite direction and the other side. पानी के बगैर ये और हाल गला खुश हो जाता है। अच्छा, types of smooth muscle. There are two types of smooth muscle: multi-unit smooth muscles and unitary smooth muscle, or single unit smooth muscle, also called visceral smooth muscle. Multi-unit means that is each and every nerve muscle fiber, they are separated from one another. This is one unit, this is other unit. So there are multi-unit smooth muscle. That is the a nerve fiber innervate a single nerve fiber. In case of multi-unit smooth muscle, while in this case a nerve fiber can innervate many smooth muscles, so that they operate, they work as a unit. That is, a single nerve fiber in response to depolarizing, a single nerve fiber can contract so many smooth muscles and unitary smooth muscle type. But in this case, a single nerve fiber innervates a single muscle fiber. So these are called multi-unit smooth muscle and they are called unitary smooth muscle. The unitary smooth muscle, they are also called visceral smooth muscle. They are found in GIT, they are found in bile duct, they are found in ureter, they are found in uterus. While these multi-unit smooth muscles, they are found in eyes and also in skin erector, piloerector muscle. That is the ciliary muscle of the eye, the iris of the eye, and the piloerector muscle of the skin. So these are three examples of multi-unit smooth muscle. While the example of this, they are found in GIT, ureters, bile duct, vessels, vascular wall, vessels. Multi-unit smooth muscle, ciliary muscles of the eye, iris muscle of the eye. ये सही जा रही है? ठीक है, आवाज आ रही है, स्लाइड वगैरह? हाँ, एक मिनट। System say on then. So in case of multi-unit smooth muscle, ciliary muscle of the eye, iris muscle of the eye, so they function to change the size of the iris and alter the shape of the lens. And the piloerector muscle, that cause erection of the hairs when excited by sympathetic nervous system, that is in response to fear or cold temperature. The multi-unit smooth muscle, as already said, they are discrete separate fibers, operates independently of the others. Often is innervated by a single nerve fiber. The outer surface is covered by a thin layer of basement membrane-like substance, a mixture of fine collagen and glycoprotein that helps insulate the separate fiber from one another. So they are separated, they are insulated from one another and innervated by a single nerve fiber, and they are independent of one another, and they are involuntary in action. The unitary smooth muscle, also called syncytial or visceral smooth muscle, they are found in GIT, they are found in bile duct, ureters, uterus, and blood vessels. The unitary smooth muscle, they contract together as a single unit. They are arranged in sheets and bundles, and their cell membranes are adherent to one another at multiple points, so their force generated in one muscle fiber can be transmitted to the next. So in this way, they contract as a single unit. And multi-unit smooth muscle, the stimulus is the nervous, while in case of these unitary smooth muscle, mostly the stimulus is non-nervous, also by a nerve, but mostly they are non-nervous. What are those non-nervous? That is chemical, mechanical, spontaneously, and also by electrically. There are gap junction. The cell membrane of the unitary smooth muscle, they are continuous with one another. That is, there are pores, there are channels. That is when a cell is excited, when a single cell of unitary smooth muscle excited, the neighboring cells are also excited because the current flows through the channels directly, that is electrotonically. No need of depolarization or action potential in between the cells. But one of the cell, when it gets excited, the same potential will flow. Ions will flow from one cell to the next through gap junctions. So you understand the gap junction. Gap junctions are actually, these are open channel between the different cell membrane, different cells of the unitary smooth muscle. That is the electric, that is the ions, the electrolytes, they can flow easily from one cell to the next. So when a cell is excited, this excitation will travel to the neighboring cells through the open channel, which are called gap junctions. So contractile mechanism and smooth muscle, the chemical basis for smooth muscle contraction contains both actin and myosin filament, just like that of skeletal muscles, but the numbers in skeletal muscle, there are 2 actin and 1 myosin, but in case of smooth muscle, there are 5 to 10 actin and 1 myosin. In case of skeletal muscle, the myofibrils, they are in regular pattern, so this gives a striation to the muscle. But in case of smooth muscle, they are irregularly placed, they are irregularly dispersed in the cytoplasm, that is, they radiate in all direction, so no regular striation in case of smooth muscle. No troponin complex and smooth muscle. Here, the other compound substance, which is called calmodulin. The actin and myosin filaments interact with each other in much the same way that they do in skeletal muscles. The contractile process is activated by calcium ions. Okay? In skeletal muscles, the contractile process is activated by calcium ions. In smooth muscle, the contractile process is activated by calcium ions. Here, in case of skeletal muscles, the calcium ions comes from sarcoplasmic reticulum. But in case of smooth muscle, the calcium ions come from extracellular side. Also additional ions, calcium ions, come from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, but the main bulk of ions, they are coming from the extracellular fluid. The ATP is degraded to ADP to provide energy for contraction. So the major differences: the physical organization में क्या है? एक्टिन मायोसिन, इसकी नंबर स्मूथ में एक्टिन ज्यादा है. In smooth muscle, there are dense bodies, while in case of Z discs. In skeletal muscle, they are placed in regular pattern, which gives striation. In the case of smooth muscle, they are dispersed in all direction. So, whenever the skeletal muscle contract, it will pull their ends, so there will be shortening in length only. But in case of smooth muscle, when the smooth muscle contracts, it will squeeze the muscle from all sides, because the myofibrils are dispersed in all directions, so the smooth muscle will squeeze from all sides. Excitation, contraction, coupling. In case of skeletal muscle, the source of ions is the sarcoplasmic reticulum, while in case of smooth muscle, the main source is extracellular fluid, calcium, also additional amount from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And another thing is that in excitation contraction, in skeletal muscle, there is a the action potential which travel from the nerve fiber toward the muscles. But in case of unitary smooth muscle, visceral smooth muscle, there are so many mechanisms. That is stretch, that is mechanical excitation, that is when the muscle is stretched, chemical when neurotransmitter or hormones bind with the receptors, or when they even through electrically, that is from one cell to the next through gap junctions. Control of conductor crisis by the calcium ions. Again, the calcium, in both cases, calcium, but in this case, in skeletal muscles, the calcium, when calcium binds with the troponin C, it will initiate, will uncover the binding site and will initiate the contraction. But in case of smooth muscle, the calcium calmodulin complex will activate myosin light chain kinase enzymes, which act as second messenger and which initiate the muscle contraction. Duration of contraction. The duration in case of skeletal muscle is shorter than that of smooth muscle. The smooth muscle contract for seconds, for minutes, even for hours. But skeletal muscle, it is faster. The amount of energy required for contraction is less in case of smooth muscle as compared to the skeletal muscles, because they have to contract for prolonged period. So less amount of energy is required. Control of smooth muscle contraction. One is extrinsic control, the other is intrinsic control. And extrinsic control, that is from external side to the muscle. One is the nerves, the neuronal control and humoral control. The sympathetic nerve fibers cause both constriction and relaxation of it. Relaxation, acting through different receptors. If it acts on the alpha adrenergic receptor, it will cause constriction. It will cause contraction of the muscle. If it acts on the beta receptor, it will cause relaxation. So in case of vascular system, vessels, in case of vessels, when the norepinephrine, sympathetic nerve fiber, excite the vascular wall, so when it an alpha adrenergic receptor, it will cause constriction of the smooth muscle of the blood vessels. But when it acts on the beta adrenergic receptor, it will cause relaxation. The second one, the extrinsic control, is the hormones or neurotransmitters which come from other sources. So these are angiotensin, which causes constriction, ADH, vasopressin, epinephrine, ANP, atrial natriuretic peptide. So these are the humoral control and the neural control. Now the internally they are controlled. Myogenic autoregulation, that is, when the smooth muscle cells, they are stretched, they will induce spontaneous depolarization and contraction. Because when the smooth muscles, they are stretched, they will open the calcium channel. So when the smooth muscle cells are stretched, they will open the calcium channel and will induce spontaneous depolarization and will result in contraction, like that occur in blood vessels, especially in the apparent glomerular arterioles. The local humoral control. Locally, some of the substances which are released, the most potent vasoconstrictor is endothelin. Similarly, some of the substances are vasodilators. Others are bradykinin, prostaglandin, thromboxane, A2, histamine, nitric oxide. So these are local humoral factors which act locally on the smooth muscles to cause either contraction or relaxation. So, control of smooth muscle, extrinsic control, in which nerves are involved, especially the sympathetic nerve, and humoral control, in which the hormones are involved, angiotensin 2, like vasopressin, epinephrine, ANP, and internal control, myogenic, that is, when smooth muscle is stretched, it will induce spontaneous depolarization and contraction of the smooth muscles. Examples, you can say blood vessels. Local humoral, so locally release substances from the cells. Some act as constrictors, some will act as dilators. These are endothelin, endosine, bradykinin, prostaglandin, thromboxane, histamine. Smooth muscle contraction and relaxation. As you know, smooth muscle contain both actin and myosin, no troponin, but they contain calmodulin. The stimuli for smooth muscle contraction, they are mechanical, that is when smooth muscle is stretched. So stretching will result in opening of the calcium channel, and calcium influx will occur and it will depolarize the. Similarly, the electrical, that is one cell, the potential of one cell can flow through the gap junction to the next one. In this way, the other cells are also excited. Chemical stimuli, the hormones, when bind with the cell membrane receptor, and similarly spontaneous. Spontaneous, it occurs in some of these tissues like GIT, that is the stomach, in which there are slow waves potential. That is, the potential is very close to the threshold level, and sometimes when it touches the threshold, it will result in depolarization and will result in contraction. So in stomach tissues, smooth muscle of the stomach, there are slow waves potential, that is a potential remain very close to the threshold potential, and when it approaches the threshold, it will result in spontaneous depolarization and result in contraction. So smooth muscle contraction and relaxation, the passive stretching of the vascular smooth muscle, which is called myogenic response. Electrical depolarization, opening voltage gated dependent, that is electrical depolarization. You can say in one way, that is electrical current from one cell flow to the next, to the neighboring ones through the gap junction. And also you can say that electrical depolarization, that is nerve fibers also come to the smooth muscle, and it causes opening of voltage gated calcium channel. Chemical stimuli, these are chemical, that is norepinephrine, the angiotensin. These things, they bind with the cell membrane receptor. It is the G protein, which is a messenger system. So bind to a specific receptor on the cells, which result in smooth muscle contraction. The mechanism of this contraction involves different signal transduction pathway, all of which converge to increase the intracellular calcium. This will be discussed next slide. Acha. Now, the mechanism of smooth muscle contraction. This is calcium, this is cell membrane, this is calcium gated channel in the cell membrane. This is sarcoplasmic reticulum. So the main source of calcium for smooth muscle contraction is the extracellular, this one. And second, additional amount of calcium can be provided from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So when this level of this calcium, the concentration of calcium increases here in this is cytosol, that is in the cytosol, this calcium will combine with calmodulin to form calcium calmodulin. अभी मैं ये जो कैल्शियम की जो ओपनिंग है, इसका जो मैकेनिज्म है अभी आपको भी बताऊंगा कि ये किस तरह ये कैल्शियम ओपन होती है। सिमिलरली ये कैल्शियम किस तरह चैनल ओपन होती है, लेकिन ये मेन थिंग पहले आप समझ लें तो फिर आसान होगा। The calcium combined with the calmodulin to form a calcium calmodulin complex. So this calcium calmodulin complex, it is an activated substance, and it will act on myosin light chain kinase. That is, it acts on an enzyme which is called kinases. Myosin MLCK, myosin light chain kinases, and then these myosin light chain kinases act as second messenger, and it will phosphorylate the myosin light chain. That is, the myosin light chain kinase, this enzyme which will cause phosphorylation of the light chain. That is, a phosphate is added to the myosin light chain. So when a phosphate is added to the light chain, it becomes activated, and it will activate the myosin cross bridge. And when it is activated, it will bind with the actin filaments and will result in contraction. So calcium comes from extracellular. This in response to depolarization or action potential or binding up transmitter. Calcium bind with calmodulin to form calcium calmodulin. Calcium calmodulin complex will activate kinase enzyme, and that kinase enzyme will cause phosphorylation of the myosin light chain. That is, a phosphate is added to the light chain of myosin light chain. That is, phosphate is added to the light chain. And when this phosphate is added to the myosin light chain, it becomes activated, and it will bind with the actin filaments to cause contraction. Here is another enzyme which is called phosphatase. Myosin light chain kinase and myosin light chain phosphatase. So when this phosphatase enzyme is excited, it will dephosphorylate the myosin light chain. That is, the myosin light chain is inactivated. That is, the phosphate is removed. So when the phosphate is removed from the light chain, it becomes inactive, and this will result in relaxation of the muscle. Calcium from extracellular side, from sarcoplasmic reticulum. This calcium bind with calmodulin to form calcium calmodulin complex, and this calcium calmodulin complex will activate myosin light chain kinase enzymes, which causes, and this here the phosphate is provided by the ATP, and when it is phosphorylated, it means that it is the myosin crosshead is activated, and when the myosin crosshead is activated, it will bind with the actin filaments, and it will pull the actin filaments, which will result in contraction. Another enzyme, phosphatase, when this phosphatase is activated, it will remove the phosphate from the light chain, so that it will result in relaxation of the muscle. At the same time, the calcium ion, it occurs at a time when the calcium level decreases, when the calcium is pumped back from the cytosol to either the extracellular fluid or towards the. So for relaxation, there are two things. Number one, the calcium is pumped back to either to the sarcoplasmic reticulum or to the extracellular side, and an enzyme which is called phosphatase, which when it is activated, it will result in relaxation. So for relaxation, two things are required: calcium, pumping up calcium out of the cytosol, and activation of the phosphatase. Now, in another slide, we will discuss how these calcium channels are opened. That is how the calcium ions are increased in cytosol, and that is during contraction, depolarization, and how does this get excited, this phosphodiesterase. This is cell membrane, a little bit more detailed. This was just simple, but more detailed. And here we will talk on this channel, the operation of this channel, and the activation of this in this slide. This is cell membrane. This is calcium channel in the cell membrane, and this is sarcoplasmic reticulum, source of calcium, that is extracellular and sarcoplasmic reticulum. Now, in case of depolarization or action potential of the cell membrane, when the chemicals, that is neurotransmitter or chemicals like norepinephrine, angiotensin 2, endothelin, or other, when they bind with the receptor, they bind with the G protein. G means guanosine. Guanosine diphosphate alpha it has three components. The G protein has three components. GA, that is guanosine diphosphate A, guanosine diphosphate B, guanosine diphosphate gamma. This gamma, G gamma, is the player of this system, while the A and B, they are supporting the gamma. So whenever the chemicals, the neurotransmitter, or the hormones, when they bind with the receptor, that is the G protein, the G protein gets activated. How? That is the G guanosine diphosphate, they are converted into guanosine triphosphate, and they are set free. The gamma portion, they come here and activate an enzyme which is called phospholipase C. So in this step, first is the hormones. When hormones bind with the G protein receptor, the G protein are activated. In these components, the G gamma portion, the G guanosine triphosphate gamma, it activates the phospholipase enzyme. This phospholipase enzymes act on phospholipid, and it is glued into two compounds, IP3, that is inositol triphosphate, and diacyl glycerol. So hormone with receptor of G protein, G gamma portion activate phospholipase C. Phospholipase C act on phospholipids, and it is glued into inositol triphosphate and diacyl glycerol. Remember these two things. Now, the DG, diacyl glycerol, it come here and it on this channel, and it is opened. So influx of calcium will occur. While this compound, IP3, act on sarcoplasmic reticulum membrane and release of calcium in the cytosol. So the next steps are the same as I have already discussed, but it was a little bit more detailed. So these are the second messenger system. Another thing which I discussed already with you, that the contraction of the smooth muscle, the skeletal muscle contraction are faster, and the smooth muscle are slower. The main reason is that in case of skeletal muscle, this system, the system is activated by ion channels, which are short acting, ion channel. But in case of smooth muscle, there is second message. How many steps are involved? Second message. So it will, in case of skeletal muscle, the contraction takes milliseconds. But in case of smooth muscle, it will take seconds, it will take minutes, and it will contract for a long period. So this is because of this system, the second messenger system. So calcium carbonate system, the calcium carbonate complex will activate the myosin light chain kinase enzymes. And when myosin light chain kinase enzyme is activated, it will, the myosin crosshead will bind with the actin myosin phosphate. So it will result in contraction. Now relaxation. There is another substance which is called nitric oxide. The nitric oxide act on guanine triphosphate or guanosine triphosphate, and in cyclic GMP is formed, cyclic guanosine monophosphate. In this cyclo guanosine monophosphate act on myosin light chain phosphatase. And this phosphate is removed, and that is the phosphatase is activated. When phosphatase is activated, it will remove the phosphate from the light chain. So when the phosphate is removed from light chain, it will get deactivation. It will be deactivated. MLCK, myosin light chain kinase, myosin light chain phosphatase, guanosine triphosphate, and cyclic guanosine monophosphate. Now, the smooth muscle contraction in detail from A to Z. Look at these slides. When smooth muscle is innervated by a nerve fiber, action potential in the sympathetic motor neuron travels through the axon and reaches the synaptic terminal. It activates calcium voltage gated channel in the presynaptic. ये voltage gated, ये सेल मेम्ब्रेन मसल की बात नहीं, ये नर्व्स की बात है. अभी जो नर्व्स में एक्शन पोटेंशियल आ रही है, ये मसल की तरफ, उस नर्व्स की बात कर रहे हैं. Activates calcium voltage gated channel and the presynaptic terminal, inducing influx of calcium and inside the cytoplasm. So when the concentration of calcium increases in the presynaptic terminal of the nerve fiber, it will promote exocytosis of the synaptic vesicle, that is expulsion of the neurotransmitter like norepinephrine into the interstitial space. That is, a nerve fiber, when an action potential travels along a nerve fiber, it will cause influx of calcium in the nerve terminal. When the calcium concentration increases in the nerve terminal, axon nerve terminal, it will cause exocytosis, that is the synaptic vesicle will release their chemicals in this interstitial space, that is the junction between the nerves and the muscle. So these chemicals, neurotransmitter or norepinephrine, reaches the smooth muscle cell membrane where it binds to the G protein coupled ligand gated channel receptors, which I discussed in this point. So norepinephrine reaches the smooth muscle cell membrane where it binds to a G protein coupled ligand gated channel receptor. So the G protein gets activation. The G proteins, the diphosphate is converted into triphosphate, which promotes dissociation of the G protein into alpha, beta, and gamma GTP individual components. ठीक है, ये components A, B and alpha, beta, gamma. इसमें gamma जो है, this is the player of the system, and alpha, beta they are supporting. The gamma guanosine triphosphate component binds to and activate phospholipase C. The activated phospholipase C cleaves phospholipase into diacylglycerol and IP3 inositol triphosphates. दो कंपोनेंट्स बनते हैं, DAG and IP3. So these DAG and IP3 act as second messenger that will activate the calcium channels. The DAG activate calcium channel in the cell membrane, while the IP3 activate calcium channel in the cytoplasmic reticulum. So DAG bind on plasma membrane calcium receptor, opening a channel, allowing calcium influx towards the cytoplasm. So the cytosol, that is the calcium concentration increases in the cytosol. Similarly, the IP3 bind on receptor on the cytoplasmic reticulum and open channels promoting calcium outflux from the reticulum into the cytosol. So the cytosolar calcium concentration increases. And when its concentration increases, it will bind with the calmodulin. The calcium binds with calmodulin to form calcium calmodulin complex. Complex bind and activate myosin light chain kinase. So it will, this will activate this enzyme, myosin light chain kinase. Now myosin light chain kinase phosphorylate the myosin light chain. That is, the myosin light chain kinase will add phosphates to the light chain, thus enabling the myosin cross bridges to bind to the actin filaments and allow contraction to begin. Now, the other side, that is the relaxation. Dephosphorylation of the myosin light chain, that is removal of the phosphates. Dephosphorylation of the light chain with subsequent termination of the muscle contraction occurs through activity of another enzyme called myosin light chain phosphatase. And you know that this phosphatase is activated from nitric oxide and contraction occurs as long as calcium is present at high concentration in the cytosol. Now the nitric oxide termination occurs, that is relaxation. The nitric oxide is a soluble guanylate cyclase that produces cyclic guanosine monophosphate. That is, the GTP is converted into cyclic GMP, guanosine phosphate. And this cyclic GMP activates protein kinase G, which activates myosin light chain phosphatase. That is, the nitric oxide result in the formation of cyclic GMP and protein kinase G, and it will activate the myosin light chain phosphatase enzyme. When this enzyme is activated, it will dephosphorylate and activate the myosin light chain, allowing the myofibril to relax. Repeat करोगे? When a neurotransmitter, the chemical bind with the G protein, it will dissociate into alpha, beta, and gamma triphosphate. It will, this gamma portion component, that is the activated portion, will activate phospholipase C, and this phospholipase C act on phospholipids to cleave it into IP3 and D. This one act here, and this act here. So calcium calmodulin, myosin light chain kinase is activated, so it will add a phosphate. Here the phosphate comes from the hydrolysis of ATP. And on the other side, when the phosphatase is activated, this phosphatase is activated, it will cause dephosphorylation. अच्छा, ये जो सेल मेम्ब्रेन में ड्यूरिंग रिलैक्सेशन पीरियड the calcium is removed from the smooth muscle cell. So when the contraction ceases and relaxation starts, the calcium is removed first from the cytosol. So जिस रास्ते से आए हैं ये दोनों उधर उस रास्ते से जाते हैं, लेकिन मैकेनिज्म अलग है. देखें, ये सेल मेम्ब्रेन में ये जो सिस्टम है ये सेकेंडरी एक्टिव ट्रांसपोर्ट वाला सिस्टम है. This is located in the plasma membrane, through which 3 sodium ions are exchanged for a single calcium ion. That is, 3 calcium enters the cytosol, 1 calcium goes out. So this is energy, this is not active energy, no energy is provided actively, but this energy comes from the kinetic energy of the sodium ion. While in the sarcoplasmic reticulum, this system is located in the membrane sarcoplasmic reticulum. They transport calcium from the cytosol into sarcoplasmic reticulum using it. It is primary active transport. That is, in the cell membrane, the calcium is removed via secondary active transport of calcium. In case of sarcoplasmic reticulum, the calcium pump is a primary active transport here, provided energy using energy from the ATP. So mechanism of smooth muscle contraction: increased concentration of cytosolic calcium, that is calcium concentration increasing in the cytosol of the smooth muscle. Calcium plus calmodulin, it causes activation of the myosin kinase, which causes phosphorylation of myosin light chains. And when there is phosphorylation, activation of myosin ATPase, ये myosin light chain में जो ATPase है वो activate होती है और ये phosphate provide करती है. Attachment of myosin head with actin, contraction by sliding filamentous mechanisms. A comparison of the properties of skeletal, cardiac, and visceral smooth muscles. Striation in skeletal muscle, yes, there are striation. In cardiac muscle, there are striation. In smooth muscle, no. अच्छा, MCQs आपको भी देने हैं. देखते हैं टाइम. striation यहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे नहीं है. Refractive period, rate of speed of contraction, skeletal muscle में fast है, cardiac में intermediate है, यहाँ पे slow है. Voluntary control, yes, no. Cardiac में no है, smooth में no. Membrane refractive period यहाँ पे short है, यहाँ पे long refractive period है, यहाँ पे नहीं है. Nuclear per cells, many nuclei in skeletal muscle, यहाँ पे single है. Control of contraction always through nerves. Cardiac beats spontaneously but modulated by nerves. Spontaneously है लेकिन modulated by sympathetic and parasympathetic. यहाँ पे nerves भी है, hormones भी है, stretch भी है smooth में. Cell connected by intergalactic disc or gap junction. यहाँ पे gap junction सिर्फ cardiac muscle में है और ये smooth में है. अच्छा, ये आधा से शुरू हुआ $10 और कमा स्लाइड और कमा ये आपको जो MCQ दे रहा